What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Red Dirt Rambles. We really appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing to the podcast as of recent, and make sure you guys keep buying the merch. The love does not go unnoticed.
Yes, sir. We got a real special treat for y'all today. I mean, we've been trying to get this man on for a while, and we finally got him, so I hope y'all enjoy.
Striper, I was considered a striper in my own age group.
I'm Nick Anderson. I play receiver.
I'm Kaden Helms. I'm a tight end here at Oklahoma.
They still going?
Yes, sir.
Dang, like,
Okay.
Rolls off the tongue, good.
Okay.
all right, man. Welcome back. We're in a little different place. We're in the Barry Switzer Center right now.
Slight flex.
Yeah, slight flex.
All these, slight flex,
A little bit of hardware.
It is what it is. But we got, obviously, Nick here, and then we got Josh Norman, director of Soul Mission. So kind of tell us, kind of what your vision is for Soul Mission and kind of what Soul Mission is for some people who may not know.
Well, Soul Mission is an initiative in the player development department that was started and founded by Coach Venables when he took the head job a little over a year ago. And Soul, S-O-U-L, is an acronym, and it stands for...
Serving our uncommon legacy.
Serving our uncommon legacy, yes, sir. Which that is from a quote by George Washington Carver that says...
I'm not even sure.
We've heard it before, but
when you can do uncommon things in life
in an uncommon way, yeah, you can demand the attention of the world.
The attention of the world.
There we go.
Yes, sir. George Washington Carver. And so, yeah, that's we're player development, and so if you look at any major Division I program in the country, they're all going to have some type of player development department. Most of them have one, maybe two people in it. We have 5 people. And, I often tell people, you can tell somebody's priority by where they spend their time, where they spend their money. And so, obviously, with Coach Venables having 5 full-time people in player development, that shows where his priority is.
Yeah, and that sends the message.
Absolutely. And so yeah, man, my role specifically is community engagement and former player relations. And so I deal with, on the community engagement part, I work to build and establish relationships with organizations in the community, locally, domestically, and abroad, to provide you guys opportunities to go serve, whether it's individually or collectively. And so, we do a few things as a team throughout the year. I help connect individual players to different organizations, whether it's, Meals on Wheels or, Second Chance Animal Rescue or whatever, for them to go and serve. And so, and then on the former player part of it, it's just making sure that former players know that they have a connection to the program, that they're welcome back to the program, and they have a direct contact to the program.
Yeah, how big of an impact have you seen on the community that Soul Mission has had?
I think so. That's kind of a tough question to answer, just because of kind of how I view community service and community engagement. So I'll answer like this. I think we've done a lot to give back to the community in the year that I've been here. We last season, and y'all know this, y'all were there during our bye week. We went out to the community, went to 7 different organizations and served on a day off. One of y'all's days off during your bye week, and we worked. It was a 4 hour long day, and put that work in. On Martin Luther King Day, we went over to the east side of Oklahoma, which is an underserved community, and served at an after school program over the Urban Bridge.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
We saw those dudes driving on horses. Yeah, that was a lot of cool cars. Everybody's driving cool cars.
It's people riding on horses, like they had
Corvettes, what's the suspensions, the jumping and stuff. That was cool.
Yeah, man. So and then we've had 2 service trips. One in May of 22, and then we just got back from one 2 weeks ago to Rio de Janeiro. And yeah, I mean, just going to different places, like I said, locally, domestically, and abroad, to serve people. And you know, truth be told, that does something for y'all. You know, whenever y'all do serve people, you know, talk about having an inside-out approach to service, but it's always an outside-in transformative experience that you guys have, especially when you go outside of your element, like when you go, you know, overseas to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and you're in the favelas, and but then also, shoot, we'll be going to South Africa in May. You're going on that one, right?
I'm going to Rio.
You going to Rio?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to Rio.
Gotta get our passports in. But.
Who do we know that? Who do we know that's going to South Africa? Is it Gentry? Is Gentry going?
Yes.
Yeah, Gentry's going.
It's a lot of the guys on the like Soul, what's it called?
Ambassadors.
Yeah.
And so, like I'm telling you, like when you go to Brazil and you go into those favelas, like it's a completely different world. And you hear that, but it still doesn't prepare you for.
It's still a culture shock.
It's like it's just a vastly different culture in the favelas, and it's its own unique thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so to be in that environment, to experience that environment, it is transformative, you know.
Just a new perspective.
Absolutely. It opens your eyes. It opens your mind. You have a brand new perspective, and yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal experience. And for me, the greatest joy I have in it is seeing that transformation happen in the guys in real time. You know, it's like when we went to Miami last year.
That was fun.
He was on that one.
And so, you know, we had only been on staff for 3 months at that time. We didn't know all of the guys, but it was some guys. We was like, we gonna have to keep an eye on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, Caden wasn't one of those guys.
Not me, no.
But it was a few guys. We were like, hey, we got to make sure. But man, like seeing how they grew on that trip, seeing the growth that happened within them as leaders, as people, and then what really confirmed that was when we got back and. Like some of the position coaches were like, man, like such and such changed a lot. When was it from the trip? I'm like, yeah, I think it was, you know. And so in that regard, it's a beautiful thing. Like I have seen a lot of growth and change, but to me, how you measure your impact on the community is years down the line. You know what I'm saying? And for me. One of the things that when you asked me about my vision earlier, one of the things that I'm like passionate about is having you guys build these relationships with these people in the community yourselves, so that maybe 5-10 years down the line, you still have that connection. You know, you poured into somebody, you gave to something to one of these kids that y'all just built a connection that lasts for a lifetime. And so that's my ultimate vision for me.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, foreign player here, play tight end. Did you kind of?
We got to correct that.
So I was gonna say. So you came in. Were you were a receiver?
No, I was recruited as a running back.
That's what I thought. I read that. So I was like,
you
no way.
Some sort of position, but kind of take us through like that process and kind of what you had to do to prepare your body and stuff like that.
Truth be told, I only played tight end maybe 2 games while I was here.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't a tight end. Everybody always puts me in the tight end category, but I was not a tight end. I was a receiver mostly.
I saw that number 3. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, I was mostly a receiver.
Not a tight end receiver.
So this was my story. I was recruited as a running back. Came in under John Blake, who was the coach that was here prior to Bob Stoops. Played for him for 1 year. He was fired at the end of my freshman year. But that whole year, I was a running back. I didn't get any burn in the games, but I played special teams. And then when Stoops came in, he brought in Mike Leach as his offensive coordinator. Completely different system that we were running. It was this, the air raid spread system. And so my second year here, my sophomore year, Coach Stoops' first year, like they really just moved me, like played around with me and moved me to different spots. One week I'd be in the running back room. Another week, again, very limited, but I'd be in the room with Coach Hayes and with the tight ends, and then I'd be in the room with Steve Spurrier Jr. with the receivers. And then going into my junior year, I was just a receiver my last 2 years. And so in the national championship year, the year after that, I was a wide receiver. Body-wise it was hard. Because I was a big receiver. Not just a big receiver, I was a big running back, period. And so, you know, like my walking around weight was probably between 230 and 235. Yeah, just not worried about my weight or whatever. Yeah. And so going into my junior year, that summer leading up to that, like Schmitty was like, we want you at 218. I'm like,
that's a little change.
Now, mind you, this was before we had nutritionists.
Yeah, so you was pretty much on your own. Yeah.
We didn't have body mass, we didn't have all of that stuff. It was just like, hey man, don't eat fast food, don't drink sodas.
Do you know how to cook? You know how to whip it up?
I know. I can burn, but I didn't know anything about nutrition and how to, lose weight. I didn't know. I didn't know,
you
what
just
I know
shooting in the dark.
Yeah, man. And so I did my best. I got down to 222.
Dang.
That's as low as I got. But I mean, I played very well my junior year and had a good year. We went on to win the Big 12 championship, national championship, and
how to put the national championship in there.
Yeah,
slight flex, slight flex.
No question. I always got to do. I always do that when we do our Soul Mission presentations too, because I'm the only one on the staff that has it.
I would need one.
Y'all gonna get one. So y'all will be in the money with me.
That was kind of leading to my next question. So kind of like that national championship year. Was it like a difference about the team's demeanor, or like what do you think was kind of the selling point of like what got you to the big one?
Yeah, man, it's funny. Like, yes, there was a change in demeanor. So Coach Stoop's first year here, which was my sophomore year, we went 7-6, played in the Independence Bowl, lost to Ole Miss in the Independence Bowl. The night of it was a New Year's game, so it was actually a New Year's Eve game. So I remember being on the bus when Y2K was happening.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like Y2K. Nothing happened, but, everybody was expecting something to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so it was really going into that summer before the national championship year that things changed, just because I think we kind of realized, like when we looked at our schedule from the year before, I think there were 4 or 5 games that we lost, by a score less. Yes. It's like really, bro. Like that's what I'm telling you. It's almost like
scary.
It really is, man. It really is. Like I've been trying not to tie them into each other, but there's a lot of similarities, and so. And I mean, even the game against Ole Miss that we lost in the Independence Bowl, like it was down to the last second. You know what I'm saying? And so going into the summer before, it was really us looking at that and saying, man, like, we're pretty freaking good. You know what I'm saying? We got all of these guys coming back. We got our guy and our quarterback is with Josh Heupel. That receiving core was all coming back. Quentin Griffin was balling at tailback. We had Ronaldo Works, Seth Luttrell. Like we had a good group of guys. And so that summer was wild because of Schmitty.
Like, he cranked it up,
bro. It was horrible, man.
In your opinion, do you think Coach Schmitty is like kind of the same or has mellowed out over the years?
He's the same, but he can't do everything. He can't use all of the tactics that he wants.
Restrictions in place.
Exactly. He got some restrictions on him now.
Yeah.
But as far as his standard, his accountability, that hadn't changed a bit. Which, in all honesty, that's what makes him who he is.
Yeah, of course.
Is his ability to, like, that no compromise. I remember. Matter of fact, this used to be our
used to be a field, right?
Our practice field.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I remember sitting right outside somewhere along this area. We had benches before we came inside, and we just got dogged out by Schmitty in the workout. It was 100-something degrees. It was hot, and me and a few receivers, we all looked at each other. We were like, bro, if we don't win the national championship next year, I'm not coming back next summer because it's pointless, man. It's like, why would we put ourselves through this and not win it all? And so, like, we had already started to have that mindset of like, man, like, it's all or nothing. And then I remember the first meeting back in fall camp, coaches, Coach Stoop said his thing, a few of the other coaches said their things, and Josh Heupel got up and spoke, and he was in tears. And he actually pulled up the schedule for the year, and he started one by one going down. And some of those teams we had played the year before, some we hadn't played yet, but he was like, I don't see anybody on the schedule that we can't beat. Like, we can win every single one of these games. And that just kind of like set the pace for the season. If we weren't already locked in, that really just like locked us in right then and there. And we were like, yeah, like that's real. Like, let's go do this. And so, there were challenging times. Obviously, we didn't just run the table unchallenged, but in those challenging games like Nebraska and Texas A&M and Kansas State, in those challenging games, it was our character that allowed us to push through and win. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, it was a special group. Like, it really was. Like, we had a team full of just high character guys. You know what I'm saying? And so, and we were talented. Nobody wants to give us credit for being extremely talented, but we were very talented as well.
Yeah, of course.
How many built?
Yeah, for Smitty built. How big of a? I know you say he got up and talked to the whole team, so that really speaks a lot. But how big of a leader was Josh Heupel to you?
Well, big. I honestly, a lot of. So my junior year was my best season here. My senior year, I didn't. It was disappointing for me. I didn't have the type of year that I really wanted to, especially after having the year I had my junior year. And I attribute my success, the difference in those years, to Josh Heupel. He was my roommate, and
really?
Yeah, and so. When he was here in the summers, during the season, whatever, he would watch film in the living room, and I'd watch it with him. There were certain things that he ate that, all right, cool. Like I said, I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And so he had a better understanding of nutrition than I did. And so I would eat a lot of the things that he ate. That's the reason I was able to get down to 218. My senior year, I think I played at like 228, 230, right? And so for me personally, he was a great leader. And I attribute a lot of my success to the relationship that I had with him and actually being his roommate and, the standard that he set within the household. And then, just as a team leader, he was a guy like you could just count on him.
Yeah.
Because you saw what he went like. When I tell you that run to the national championship, those last 3 or 4 games, like he honestly couldn't. It was hard for him to throw the ball from me to that trash can.
Really?
Yeah, like he if you go and watch the games, he always wore long sleeves, and it was because literally from his wrist all the way up to his armpit, black and blue.
No,
bro, he was jacked up.
Dang.
If you go back and watch the first game both games against Kansas State that year, they ran that 4-6 defense and they were bringing, cover zero, like 80% of the time.
Dang.
Like they was bringing
They bring that heat,
right? and the air raid ain't known for 7-8 man protections.
Yeah.
Like you got 5-6 at the most.
Yeah, someone gonna be free.
Coming after him, and they was getting to him. He was getting the ball off, but they was lighting his tail up, man. And so, like, you see that, and, like, literally, like, peeling him off the ground, and he just get up, and you could just see the hurt and the pain in his face. But he'd look to the sideline, he'd get the play, he'd walk in the huddle, he'd call it, he'd make the play, he'd deliver every time. And,
That's
you
powerful.
just hearing that, like, that does something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
crazy.
Yeah, so, like, he was a great leader, man. Yeah, we have so much respect for that dude, and that's the reason, all of the guys that played with him just, love seeing what he's doing even to this day.
Yeah. So, you had your cup of coffee in the league.
Yeah.
Kind of, what was that experience like? And would you say that the connections you made while in the league, kind of carried throughout your life off the like outside of the league? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the connections and relationships that I built in college, there's probably more of those. But the ones that I built in the NFL are deep relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that I walked away with. And for me, it it was a great learning experience in so many ways. You know, I look back at it now and I know that I wasn't prepared for that. I just wasn't. But that could have been any job. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wasn't, in my head, I wasn't mature enough. And then you add on the fact of the stakes and the pressure at playing in the NFL. Yeah. I just wasn't ready for it, you know. And so, you know, I had a lot of injuries and had some success and was doing well, but I just couldn't stay healthy. But nevertheless, man, it was a great experience for me, learning experience. I learned so much about the game of football, you know, and I think that's why I was able to go into coaching and have the success that I had as a coach as well.
So you were you coached at a high school?
Yeah, I've coached at high school and college.
Oh, really?
So my first job I had was at Community Christian School here in Norman. It's a small private school. I coached junior high my first year. My second year, yeah, it was junior high.
Trash. I was just running around, just smacking my head on.
That's when I said I will never coach or teach at the junior high level. Like those kids are so confused at that age, and they just like they're tyrants, man. But you know, got my feet wet in coaching, and then the next year I coached at the high school level, and then also coached at junior high again, and then the year after that I was named head coach, and we went 2 straight years undefeated, 2 state championships, and yeah, man, it was beautiful. Yeah, got 2 rings out of it, and then right at the end of, well, I guess, going into my 3rd year as a head coach, the spring of that 3rd year, man, I just felt a strong call from God to just do music only. And so I just started doing music ministry stuff for 3 years. And then I got back into coaching at Southern Nazarene University here in Bethany, Oklahoma. I was the offensive coordinator for 2 years there. Then I was in Texas as an offensive coordinator at a high school there in Midland, Texas. And then came back to Oklahoma. Was at John Marshall High School for 1 year, and then at Southmore High School as the head coach for 2 years. And we weren't good there. It was bad.
I did not know you coached that much. Like,
yeah, I'm a football coach.
Yeah, like I didn't really know that. For
I'm
real.
a football coach.
What level of ball did you think was like best to coach? Maybe not the easiest, but like the best experience.
I mean, definitely. I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, they all have their pros and cons.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, my greatest experience was my first head job when we didn't lose a game. You know, what I'm saying?
2 state champs, you can't really beat that.
That was a phenomenal experience. But you know, like for me, man, it's just always been about the people and the relationships you build.
Yeah, of course.
It sucks losing because I utterly hate losing. But you know, you can learn a lot in those moments, and I've learned a lot over the years. And so, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say one is better than the other.
For sure.
You kind of talked about it earlier, but so your love for music, like where did that just always kind of been with you, or like did that stem from anywhere? Or?
Yeah, I think it's deep inside of me, but my mom was a singer. Like I grew up listening to my mom sing in the church. I grew up listening to my mom sing around the house when she cleaning up on Saturday mornings with the records going. You know, like, and when I say she sang it, like she was like a lead singer. Like my mom could sing. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I wish.
I think that's where it started, and then. So this is kind of like how I got into music production. I grew up writing poetry. Okay, like from when I was 12 years old, I write poetry. Yeah, and didn't really do anything with music outside of in order to teach myself to learn poetry, I would listen to songs and write them out. And then see how they wrote them, because I always thought that's poetry, you know what I'm saying? And so when I got to college, I started to learn to play the piano. I was going to a Bible study, and I'd just look at this dude's hands, and I'd be like, okay, and then I'd just try to do that. And so my junior year, I went back home, and my best friend from my childhood, shout out Savoy Smith, he had started doing music production, and he showed me a song that he had recorded, and I was like, wait a minute, what? You record.
Yeah, like,
this
you
is
made this?
before like software that you could like Fruity Loops. You know what I'm saying? Like this is before FL Studio. Like, and so I was just like, wait a minute, what? How did you do this? And so he walked me through the process, and I was like, oh my gosh! And y'all know we don't get a lot of time off.
Yeah.
And so when I came back here, and I was like, man, next time I go, I'm gonna make sure I got me a song because I want to record it. And so I took some of the things that I learned on the piano. I took some of my poetry stuff and did all of that. I went back home. I recorded something, and then I fell in love with it from that moment. And so like I got my little $10,000 signing bonus, and I was like, I went and bought me some music equipment, and so off seasons and all of that. That's all I do, man. And so when I was done playing ball, I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do that. And yeah, it's a definite passion of mine for sure.
I was in like early high school. I tried to get into like FL Studio. I was too confused. Like I even got like a little like mini piano with like the little
With
beats
the
on the
pads
side.
on it,
Could not
really
couldn't get
with FL
it.
Studio, like because that's like one of the easiest ones to.
Nah, I don't.
You couldn't do it.
It was like rocket science. I was getting so frustrated, bro. Like I couldn't.
You have any players want to hop on the beat yet?
Actually, yeah, man. I've talked to a couple of guys, man, and I'm actually I'm working on a project right now, and I'm actually gonna get them on one of the songs on the project.
Yeah. It's tough.
And so I'm gonna keep that close to the chest because I don't know if they want people to know. But yeah, I'm planning on meeting with those guys this week to try and figure something out with them.
Can I ask if they're current or?
Are they current?
They current?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I might have an idea about it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who think they can spit some on the team.
Yeah, but we talked a little bit about how you recruited as a running back, but how was the recruiting process like, and like how has it changed over the years?
So I think like in the most recent years, NIL's changed the game for
definitely.
I think that's the biggest thing that's changed. Outside of that, man, like it really has not changed. It's kind of evolved, if you will, but it hadn't changed. Like, I mean, if you look back to the 70s with, the Pony Express at SMU, have you heard that story? Y'all hadn't heard about SMU? With Eric Dickerson and what's the other guy's name? Shoot, I drew a blank. He was a sports football broadcaster. I can't remember his name. It'll come back to me. But anyway, his son was the one that was involved in the Texas Tech thing when Mike Leach got fired. Yeah. Dang, it's right there. Anyway, so like SMU was the first Division I football team that got the death penalty, meaning like they shut the whole program down.
Oh, shoot.
No football.
Wait, what you mean? Like
they violated
take these trophies, put them in the closet. Y'all find somewhere else to go play football. Oklahoma no longer has a football program.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like this happened in like the 70s or maybe the 80s. It may have been the 80s.
Dang, like the whole football team.
And it was because they was out there, I'm talking about wilding. They had all of them rich oil dudes in Dallas just like breaking cats off, like breaking them. I'm talking about like driving Ferraris and
oh my God.
Yeah, it was wild. And so that's been the case in college football for years. You know what I'm saying? People doing things illegally, buying guys to get them. Now it's just like the Wild Wild West. It's like free reign. You know what I'm saying? And so, so I'd say that's the biggest difference. But we still had our 5 visits that we could take, and I took all 5 of mine. Oklahoma was actually an unofficial visit for me. I didn't take an official visit here. Oh man, SMU.
Man, here we go.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like
First one,
SMU, Texas A&M, Nebraska, University of California, and University of Kansas. Those were my 5.
Nebraska. Hold on.
Yeah, that's back when they were.
Oh yeah, they used to be tough.
That was. I was being recruited in '97, so they was champs in '94, '95, 96. Yeah, so they was big time. But
how'd you get your film out there? Was it like
did y'all have to
like VHS or like what?
That's funny.
It was a push of a button.
That's the other way that it's changed as well. Yeah. Well, a couple of different ways. One, like I didn't have to do anything. Like back in those days, like they really just kind of found you through publications and stuff like that. And so, if you top 5 running back in the country based off these other publications, or even just say state of Texas, you top 3 running back in the state of Texas based off what is it, Dan Campbell's magazine?
Oh yeah.
Like all of those coaches were, reading that. But then they would also, like they have their areas that they would recruit. Midland, Texas, West Texas is a part that we had a lot of players come out of there back in the days, and so they knew. My brother, who was just a year older than me, he was like number 1 safety in the country, and so like they knew about me by recruiting him, and they're like, oh yeah, you got a little brother and stuff like that. And so I didn't actually have to send out my tape to anybody, you know what I'm saying, but some people did do that.
So by send out tape, what you like VHS? Oh,
VHS,
shoot.
bro.
That's great.
If I'd have known you was gonna ask this question, I'd have brought my highlight film on VHS.
You
I still got it.
VHS?
It's somewhere at the house. It's somewhere in the box, but yeah, I still got it. And it got Josh Norman number 30. VHS, man.
That's great. I guess you talked about the South Africa trip and kind of how it. Well, you talked to us in the Red Room about how it changed your life, and kind of just those trips we're doing. I know you're not necessarily like in charge of the internships, but what do you think the benefits of the internships we got going on are, and then how did that? Like, was that like a Venables thing that he, like, was that his vision or was that Soul Mission's vision?
Yeah, it was definitely Coach Venables' vision. So when he hired the 4 of us, I ain't gonna say main 4, but Ryan, Curtis, Caleb, and myself, like he told us our roles. He was like, Josh, you're going to be of community engagement, former player relations. Curtis, you're going to be life skills and NFL liaison. Caleb, you're going to be career and professional development, right? And so, like, the micro internships was a big part of what Caleb's role was creating those partnerships. And the impact that it has, I'll compare it to when I was in college, right? I worked at Ferguson car dealership, moving cars around a lot and washing cars when I was in college, right? In the summer. And then I went on and played the NFL. When I was coming out of the NFL, like, I didn't have a resume. Like, just as simple as that. I didn't have a resume. And what was I going to put on my resume?
Yeah, for real.
Right? Funny story. When I was a head football coach at Southmore, I'd get people applying for jobs. And this one dude applied for, like, a D-line position that I had open. And he was a young dude. I laughed at it. But under work experience, he played, like, Canadian football, and under job description it said maintained gap integrity. I was like, what? Like, you really put this on a resume? So I wasn't gonna do that, right?
In all fairness, though, he stood out. He stood out from the other resumes.
That's real, because I remember that. That's real. So anyway, I wasn't gonna do that on my resume. Ran routes and caught footballs, and like, I wasn't gonna do that. And so I didn't have a resume, man. And so, like, just that alone for micro internships, like, that you actually can say, I did an internship with Devon Energy, and I shadowed the CEO for a week. Yeah, and the next summer, I did it with whatever other company. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge thing, not just for your resume, but for your own experience as well. And so that in itself is, like, for me, for student athletes, man, like, that's like one of the most incredible things. And as I stated earlier about community service and engagement, like, it's one of those things, like, there's not going to be a lot of tangible evidence of the impact it makes. But to me, from what I've witnessed, it makes just as large of an impact on the individual, on the student athlete, than anything that we do does. So, I mean, it's a program that I think every school needs. But I think that's what makes us here at the University of Oklahoma football a 1 out of 1 in the country.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. So that's you kind of explained it from, like, a leadership point of like perspective. I know you were on you did a micro internship in Alabama.
That was last spring break, I think.
So kind of explain how.
Last May. Kind
of explain how, from like a player perspective, that was.
It was kind of crazy because it was like my first time. I went to Wells Fargo's Advisors in Birmingham, and it was like my first time really in like an office setting, and it was kind of a culture shock, but it was. I also found like some similarities, like from being in sports. Like there was kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know how I'm trying to put this, but like there was a lot of like.
Are you talking about like stuff that transfers over from football?
Yes, like
teamwork,
teamwork, all that. Thank you.
Relative skills.
How to relative skills, transferable skills, exactly.
As BB
but
was
like, just like a leadership role, there's a lot of teamwork. Like we had to get together and form like a PowerPoint on like the stocks that we were looking over for a certain client that was in the NFL, because he was an advisor for a lot of major league baseball teams and or not baseball teams, baseball players and NFL players too. So we looked over their incomes and then like what they should be investing in, and if they should even be in the market to invest, because there's some like different. I know I'm not an expert on this, but like different like areas to invest in. But yeah, it was a great experience, and that definitely like opened my eyes on what I want to do in the future.
So like even you saying that goes a long way, because like when you said you've never been in an office environment, right? So stats show only 2% of college football players were going to the NFL, right? Now, we know that y'all are that 2%, right?
Of course, yeah.
That 2%. So I'm not talking about y'all right now. But for the guys who are in the 98%, like when they go into the workforce, into the marketplace, them having that experience is a big deal, because it's not a like, oh shoot, what the crap. And Caleb says it best. When businesses and all of those people come into this area, they're like, oh my gosh, it's an everyday thing for y'all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's the exact opposite when y'all go into an office space. It's like, whoa, like, and it's a bit uncomfortable. You got to get used to it. And so the micro internships provides us that opportunity to get the experience to set us up for the future.
Definitely.
So I kind of talked about this on like some of our previous podcasts, but like what was kind of like, I would say, the toughest adjustment, like getting into college? Like I would say mine was just kind of finding my routine, getting my schedule, and then, out of high school, you're like one of the star players on your team, so you kind of have to learn how to like be behind these veteran players again, and stuff like that. So what would you say that experience was like for you?
Probably time management was the biggest deal, because you don't have your dad telling you to get out of bed. You ain't got somebody telling you, what time your classes start, what time they end, when you need to be there.
Y'all didn't have teamworks?
No. Bro, you gotta, when was the internet like big? 99?
I don't even know.
When did the internet happen? 90? No, it was like 96 or 97.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
My freshman year was 98 here, bro. And we would go to the computer lab and print stuff off, and it had like the perforated edges with the holes like that you had to take out. Like that's what we were printing on, bro. Like it was. No, we did not. No, that was the first time I had heard about email.
Dang, really?
My freshman year.
Man, we got it good.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
for real.
So no, there was no teamworks. It was just like you go to Teresa Turner, she give you your schedule, she'll print out your schedule, and you got to stick to it. Now, your coaches knew it, but they wasn't like they didn't have spotter.
Yeah.
We had people who were spotters.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
they had to
went to the classes
and check, like make sure that you were in class, but they just be there at the beginning, so you'll go and sit down 5 minutes and then dip. Like, yeah, it was different.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, just time management, man. Just being where you need to be when you're supposed to be there, and having the discipline to do it.
So we usually try to have some fun on the podcast. I usually
well, I've been having fun the whole time.
No, yeah, but I usually have like a debatable kind of topic, but I couldn't really find one. Like my last,
You couldn't find anything to debate on?
well, like my last one was like, or not. What was my last one?
Your last one was the straws.
Oh yeah, how many holes does a straw have? 2, or 1. And then trust me. And then my other one was like, is cereal a soup? And then we kind of just went down that rabbit hole. But this one, we got. Have you ever seen those like? Are you smarter than a 5th grader questions?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be between y'all two.
Oh, it's a competition?
But it's first to 3.
Okay, man.
And
Are you gonna ask us one at a time?
No, I'm gonna ask it. It's gonna be first.
Just gotta do
the first one to answer.
Yeah, it might have to be first to answer.
All right.
So, all right. The first one I should have the upper hand. The first one I have is, all right. If y'all don't know this one, whose picture is on the $5 bill?
Why am I drawing a blank, bruh? Abe Lincoln?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
I only deal with 20s and 100s. So
Okay. Sort of flex. I haven't seen a $5 bill in a while, though.
I haven't either. I don't even carry cash on me anymore.
On me, I carry like maybe a 20 at all times, but that's it.
I'd never have cash in my wallet, like ever.
So that's a tricky question. All right, no. Next one.
This one's kind of like, whatever. How many times does 7 divide into 49?
7.
Okay.
Who got that?
that was kind of a bad one. That was kind of
You asked?
That's super easy.
I thought you were gonna draw a blank. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, that's crazy. No, that's kind of crazy. I see where we stand.
Some of these are like math. Like
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Just ask.
If a car is traveling 40 miles an hour, how long will it take it to go 190 miles?
What?
It's traveling 40 miles an hour. So how long will it take? So like 1 hour is 40 miles.
Yeah, and how long will it take to go how long?
190. 190 miles.
I need like a sheet of paper.
That would
You don't be doing mental math?
Wait.
So that would be
2 hours
4 hours and 45 minutes.
What?
I don't know.
Bro, what? That's crazy.
Right.
190 divided by 40 is 4.75, correct?
Yeah.
So you got the 4 hours, and then 75% of an hour is 45 minutes.
Dang, my math stuck.
So you both at one?
Yeah, we both at one.
Okay, so we didn't count that. Okay. Okay, so one of these animals.
He's at 2. I'm at 1.
I got the.
He got the 7. 4.
I just didn't count
I'll
that
take
one.
the
That sounds kind of easy.
I mean, I'll take the point. I'll take the point.
All right. Which one of these animals is a mammal? A seahorse, a sea lion, or a sea urchin?
Lion. I didn't need to go past that. I knew that was a mammal.
I wouldn't have known that. I'm not gonna lie.
You would?
Wait, no, because it like
I would have guessed sea lion, but I wanted to hear all the answers. I wanted to hear all the answers.
What would you assume a sea lion is?
A sea lion?
Yeah.
A mammal.
Yeah, but all right.
What? I said
You said you wouldn't have known, but like you think a sea urchin is or a seahorse is a mammal?
I think I said it backwards. I'm not gonna lie. I would have got it right. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Which continent is the least populated?
Antarctica.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, tied up.
Tied. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep. 2-2.
Okay, hold on.
This is the game decision, the deciding question, right?
All right. How many? Hold on. I want to get a good one. Dang. Oh, what is the capital of Connecticut?
That's. Bro, I suck at capitals.
Yeah, I suck at capitals. Especially Northeast. No, you get
Hartford.
Hartford. I definitely
could go through the continent. I mean, I could go through the United States.
You would have got that?
One of my friends can name the capital of every country in the world.
Every country?
Every country.
Oh no, I could. Nah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
You gotta pick a better question.
Hold on. What do you call a scientist who studies rocks?
Geologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Man.
I got to 3 first.
Yeah.
So that I win.
He does win.
I should have won because
No.
I went to
If you don't know how to divide,
no, I should. I'm saying I should have won because I was a fifth grader.
What are you trying to say right now?
What am I trying to say?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying no, you were fifth grader first. I'm saying it's been longer since you were a fifth grader, so I should have won.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I've been. I can't speak today.
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, he gets what I'm saying. Like it's been longer since he's not been a fifth grader. Like he's been out of school longer, so I should have got that.
Okay. Well, I do have a little.
Those are simple questions.
Debatable question.
All right.
I can't remember if we talked about it or not, but like I don't remember what like conclusion we came to. It was no, we did talk about it. Is a taco. I mean, is a taco a sandwich?
Of course, it's not.
Yeah, see, it's not.
But how though?
It's a
What do you mean? I want you to break it down.
It's a taco, bro. It's like asking, is a hyena a dog? No.
You could make an argument.
No.
You could make an argument.
because a hyena is actually the only species that only has one breed. The Hyaenidae species. So
I'm not a Nat Geo Wild.
I'm just saying, like that's a fact. That's a fun fact that I happen to know about hyenas. And to me, that's what the taco is. It's its own species. It's not a sandwich.
That's a great analogy.
It's a taco.
You know, just because I know I'm right, I'll let it slide. Just because I know I'm right.
What do you mean you know you're right?
I have the peace in my heart to let that slide.
So I got a debatable question. I've asked players this, and would you rather? Y'all probably heard this and probably have answered this. Would you rather fight a lion once a year or fight a chicken every time you get into your car for the rest of your life?
Every time?
Wait, fight a lion once a year
for the rest of your life, or fight a chicken every time you get into your car.
You have
just
to
kick the chicken, bro. Like,
no, but you can't. But it's like when you sit. No, when you sit in your car, like it's like when you close the door.
It's a mad chicken. I don't know if you've ever seen a mad rooster.
Bro, they throw hands. Have you seen like? I know
they go hard.
I know it's illegal. Have you seen like cockfighting?
Yeah,
bro, they go in.
Yeah, but you gotta think about this. Like every time you get into your car,
I'm gonna die.
lion once a year.
Okay,
man,
but like, what can I use? Like anything?
You can't use any. Like this is the conclusion.
I just use my bare hands.
No, not bare hands, but you can make weapons. How about that? Okay. You just can't use any pre-made weapons. How about that?
So anything that you can make.
Yeah, spear.
I don't know, spear. I was
trying to get something like I could make like a makeshift gun.
I don't like tedious and mundane things, so having to fight a chicken every time I get into my car, it's like, for instance, we get back from West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
We get back from West Virginia. Yeah. We pull up in the buses.
If we got back from West Virginia, that chicken would be dead,
you're tired, and you pull up in the buses, and you're getting your bags, and you're like, man, I'm ready to get home. God dang it, I got to deal with this daggone chicken.
If it's after a game we lost, the chicken would be wraps, bro.
But if you think about it, you really just have an unlimited food source.
Bro, you
always got a chicken.
Cook it up every time.
You're on your way to 6 a.m. workouts with Schmitty.
You late. You late,
bro. I forgot my...
I'm just Vito.
And then you got to go back home.
Fight two chickens.
Get out, and then get back in the car and fight the chicken again.
That's actually it.
But you gotta
fight the chicken every time you get in your car.
Now you gotta think about this though. Like a lion every year you're alive.
I've got a year to prepare for it. That's one. Two, I'm gonna monetize that thing because I'm gonna make it a big deal every April 1st.
Watch you fight this. Watch you fight this lion.
Now watching Josh Norman.
It's gonna be on ESPN every year. We getting paid for this, man. Selling out.
Like once you just die, like then it's all over.
Then it's all over. But shoot, I ain't got to fight the chicken every time I get in my car. Exactly. He had a heck of a run.
But once you get, that's like, but once you get old, like. Death by a lion? Because like if you do get crazy and like mess up this lion every year, like it's gonna get to a point where like your body just break down. You cannot fight this lion anymore, and you're gonna die by a lion attack.
It's gonna be the same with the chicken though.
You gonna go? But like at least like you get to like a point when you're old, like you don't have to drive anymore.
I'm gonna say the lion because like you were saying, like once you get old, you like kind of know like when your time for it comes. So like you can like plan out like all the stuff you want to do before you fight the lion.
Before the lion.
And then you're just like, well,
I'm gonna take the lion. I'm not fighting the chicken every time I get in my car.
I don't know.
Because that's gonna mess up your schedule. Like you're gonna have to be out the house an hour earlier than you normally would.
Yeah.
You have to leave places an hour. Like how many times we done got caught up in meetings and you got to run to the city to do something, and it's like, man, I gotta go fight this daggum chicken before I go up here. You show up, you got feathers all over you and blood all over you. Nah, man. I'm gonna do my thing with this lion one time a year and I'm good.
Or like you on a date.
Exactly. You're going to the restaurant and you tell your lady like, just 1 second, I gotta go handle this chicken out in the car. Nah, man.
You know the best you can smell like chicken. Sounds are kind of messed up. I might take the lion though.
I'm definitely taking the lion.
I mean, that's all the questions I have. Do you have any questions for us?
I actually have one more question.
Okay.
If you could give yourself some advice to your college self, what advice would you give yourself?
Man, it'd probably be just listen. You know what I'm saying? Like listen to my dad, you know, those people that I love. And also listen to my coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like being on the other side of it now, it's like, man, like we like genuinely care about you guys. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that for every coach. I can't, but I know here, like we genuinely care about you guys. And the advice we give y'all is it's because we've been there, done that. We've seen not just our own experience, but we've seen so many different examples.
Yeah.
Just from being in the game and coaching so long and just being a player for so long. And so that's probably what I'd say is just listen, man, like just take that advice and apply it. You know, don't wait. You know, like I used to make the joke that the older I got, the smarter my dad became. And it's because it's like, you know what, Daddy, you actually had a point then. You know?
You might have been awesome.
Exactly. And so, yeah, man, just listen. Like,
Yeah, that's really
take heed to advice.
You understand?
I don't have any
think
other
that's
questions.
I love what y'all doing, man.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We love it too.
Man. When y'all become bigger
Oh,
than
we
Joe
will.
Rogan, you know what I'm saying? Like,
We got the video proof.
Just let me do
Yeah, video
just
for
let
you
me
to
do
be
the
the proof.
intro music. How about
I
that?
bet, yeah.
I'll do y'all's intro
get some
music. You know what I'm
beats.
saying? Exactly.
Little outro.
Yeah. But appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate you for coming on, Josh. And Boomer.